Hey, are you following me on social media? Have you visited my website? This is Nicki Sanders with Nicki Sanders Leadership Consulting. I am a leadership coach, a strategist, an overcoming perfectionist, and a burnout survivor. And today I want to talk to you about something that may seem insignificant, but is actually quite important. It is my logo. If you haven't seen her, I want you to visit my website or social media and take a look at her after you get to the end of this video, the end of the video. So I've had this logo for over 5 years, and she was created at a time when my life was in transition. What was also happening is the world was in transition. It was 2020. Everything in our lives was really turned upside down. It was a time of collective pain and struggle and suffering and fear and anxiety. And I want to make a special announcement and introduce this new logo. And so I almost didn't. Because who cares about a logo when the world is a literal dumpster fire? We were all on lockdown during a global pandemic, something we had never seen before here in the United States. It was after the murder of George Floyd, and there were protests nationally. There was just a lot of upheaval and uprising and turmoil happening at that time. And so again, I was like, this is not important, but it was important. And I released her because it was never actually just about the logo. It was about what she represented. Softness, a little whimsy, a little unserious, right? Getting outside of the box. She was the representation of where I was in my personal and professional life at that time. And it was important that I made the commitment to myself and that I stuck to that commitment and released her to the world, because I wanted her to be there so that we all could see that we could shed those shoulds and we could get out of the boxes that we had created for ourselves and stop checking those marks that society said we needed to check. So it was about permission, no longer about performance. It was about authenticity and not just about being accountable to a specific thing or production. And so I released her to the world. And then fast forward in 2023, I was like, I don't know. Is it time for her to go yet? Right? I wasn't using her as much. Is it time for her to go? I've continued to evolve. I've grown. My population that I'm working with had changed. My audience had changed. Was she professional enough? Were the colors too bold? Was she too juvenile? Right? Was this the time to let go? Right? And again, I made the decision. Okay, the bugs are out today. Y'all know I love being outside, but that one is too close to my face. And so I made the decision in 2020 that, again, I wanted to keep her, that she was not done, that she was still a representation of who I was and what I stood for. And she was still doing what she was created to do, because she wasn't created just to be cute. She was created really to be countercultural. She wasn't created to be a part of the mold. She was created to break the mold and stand out and stand apart. Like when you saw that logo, you're like, that's Nicki's logo, right? Everybody knew that was my logo. And I intentionally had an animated logo for that exact reason, because I wanted us to stop being so hard and stop being so serious. It was a reminder that we could take off the armor. We didn't have to continue to be the strong friend and the strong leader, that we could take off that armor and still be considered professional, that we can take off that armor and still be taken seriously, that we can take off that armor and still get the things done that needed to get done, but we could do them at our own pace, in our own way, in our own style. And that's what she represented. So if you look at her, right, she has a cute little pose, like that was intentional, right? If you look at her outfit, she's wearing a skirt instead of pants. That was intentional. You see the little polka dots. That was all intentional, because she was a visual representation, not just of what I did, but who I am. And she continues to be that 5 years later, even though I don't use her as much as I used to, and I was like, is it time, right? It's 5 years later, let's move on. You know, I am still using my social work degree, but in a different way. I've evolved, I'm growing. You can evolve, you can grow. She still represents me through the pivots, through the growth, through the evolution. In this soft girl era, she actually is now even more important when we are being forced to code switch, right? When we are having to choose between our integrity, our authenticity, and keeping our jobs, she is actually more important as that visual reminder that you can still define success on your own terms and you can be authentically you. So this is the reminder for you, again, that you can, listen, these bugs, that you can be authentically you. So if you are ready to step into your soft girl era while you are still being professional, right? Because she is still professional. If you are ready to let go some of that armor, if you are ready to release some of those weights and labels and responsibilities, this is the time. I am here to support you in your transition to your next level. So leave me a comment. Let me know if you checked out the logo and if she represents any of the things that I said to you. Let me know if there's something that I've said that stands out for you or that resonates with you. Subscribe to the website, right? Let's have more conversations about soft leadership, about burnout recovery, about liberation and leadership. Share this with your sister friends who also need to be a part of this conversation. And if you're ready to take the next step and move forward, I invite you to register or enroll in your Power Hour Identity Reclamation Session. And you can do that on my website at nickisanders.com. But that logo is still here. She's not going anywhere anytime soon. Even if I don't use her as much and you don't see her as often, she is still that visual reminder to me of what I need to continue to stand for and do to operate in integrity, which is extremely important to me. It is operating in integrity. And so I want to leave you with this. The website, you know, it's there. The logo is there. Do I have to have a logo? Of course not, right? Can I do the work without a logo? Of course, because I don't use her as often anymore. But she is a visual representation of my legacy. So she's not going anywhere because I'm not going anywhere. See you in the next video. Hop on over to my website, check out the logo, sign up for your Power Hour session, and I'll see you soon. Bye.